Bird statues are incredibly useful tools for Skyward Sword speedrunning, both on the original Wii and recently released HD versions. From being able to land at multiple places in any region, to death warping, and all the possibilities provided by them for various back-in-time and entrance animation glitches, the versatility of bird statues is always on display. Even one of my previous videos detailed an out-of-bounds bird statue in the Fire Sanctuary which, if we could reach, would save time in various categories of Skyward Sword speedrunning. Unfortunately, that video is still accurate, and today we're going to add another bird statue to the list for consideration. At the bottom of Hylia's realm, a small distance away from the portal to the final boss, the game provides one last bird statue for players to use as a save point. And this bird statue is only meant to be accessible when all the previous bosses of the final gauntlet have been defeated. When you first arrive in Hylia's realm, you're immediately thrown into the Horde fight. During this fight, the game blocks you from being able to access the bird statue because it doesn't want you saving in the middle of a boss fight. The same holds true for the third fight against Girahim, where during the first phase you void out if you try to fall down to it, and during the second and third phases you're limited by the walls of the arena. But what would happen if you could access this statue during the Horde or Girahim 3 fights? Well, not a whole lot at first glance. Saving and reloading during either the Horde or Girahim 3 just puts you back into those respective fights, so not much has changed except that now you're trapped by the walls that confine the bird statue and don't have a way of getting out. So why is this even something we're considering? What use could saving and reloading at this bird statue theoretically have if we're already at the end of the game? The answer actually isn't complicated, but it's not something you'd likely think of at first. Skyward Sword features a boss rush minigame, which is available to play after you revive the Thunder Dragon with the Tree of Life fruit. In this minigame, the Thunder Dragon allows you to refight any of the bosses that you fought up until this point in the game. And if you're playing on a hero mode file, he allows you to fight the bosses at the very end of the game, even if you haven't fought them yet. This includes both the Horde and Girahim 3. Now, to make boss rush work, the game simply loads you into the regular boss fight of your choosing, except it'll set a temporary minigame flag, add the on-screen timer, and also change some flags that track the game's story progression if necessary to set up the fight correctly. Then, once Link either dies or defeats the boss, the game sees that the minigame flag is set and will reset the story flags it changed, spawn Link in front of the Thunder Dragon, and unset the minigame flag. However, if we interrupt these boss rush fights by, say, I don't know, saving and reloading during them, the temporary minigame flag goes away, meaning that the game will believe we're in the real boss fight, and not the boss rush minigame, allowing us to continue onward when the fight is finished. Unfortunately, saving and reloading during the Horde fight makes the Horde impossible to complete, leaving us with only the Girahim 3 fight left. So if we could reach this bird statue during the Girahim 3 fight, we'd get direct access to the very end of the game. So, what possible ways could there be of getting around the walls that guard this statue? Skyward Sword is a game with very solid collision detection. There aren't many ways to clip through walls, and those that exist are few and far between. However, one of those few clips happens to exist in Hylia's realm. A player by the username Ashley Darkboss discovered that among the walls Girahim uses to trap you, there's a weak point where you can just hop through the collision with the right position and angle. This gives you access to the entire spiral around the map, and it looks like it should give you access to the bird statue also, right? Well... Looks can be deceiving, because there's still an invisible wall blocking the statue. Initially, it seems ridiculous that an invisible wall exists somewhere that players aren't meant to be, but there's actually a reasonable explanation for why this wall is here. During the Horde fight, players are meant to have access to this part of the map, so having collision here prevents players from reaching the statue during the Horde fight. The active collision for these walls simply wasn't changed between the Horde and Girahim 3 fights, apart from this wall forming behind Link at the end of the Horde, which also contains the corner we can jump through. The changes they made to these walls for Girahim's fight were only visual, and thus this clip doesn't get us any closer to the statue. Even if we could access the bird statue, we still have to solve the problem of what to do once we reload, since these walls have collision on both sides. The original Wii game can use a glitch known as bit warping to escape the confines of these walls by saving and starting a file at the same time. This is possible by first activating a glitch known as back in time to gain playable control on the title screen, and then finding a statue with a good position to set this up. Bit warping will replace the coordinates Link spawns at to those of the title screen statue where he saved. From here, it's possible to beat Girahim 3 by doing some weird stuff to get Link and Girahim back up on the platform properly. As far as HD goes, though, we don't have any leads on how to escape these walls. But saving and reloading isn't the only option we might have here. The minigame flag that gets set during boss rush will also go away if you manage to load onto a different map from the boss fight. In the case of Girahim 3, we have the option of loading Hylia's temple, which will get rid of the minigame flag, although this idea falls short when we can't reopen the door to Hylia's realm, since the trigger for unlocking this door is completing the Skykeep dungeon. Being able to perform this trick would save time in both the original Skyward Sword and Skyward Sword HD. The original game already gets to the end pretty fast after meeting the Thunder Dragon, but this trick would skip having to do two complicated reverse bit magic sequences for opening the Gate of Time and opening the door to Hylia's realm, as well as the entire Horde fight, so it has potential to end up saving a minute or two if it can be done quickly. Skyward Sword HD, on the other hand, would benefit very heavily if we could clip in and out from the statue's walls. If we could jump directly into the Girahim 3 fight after reviving the Thunder Dragon, we would skip Tadtones, Bokoblin Base, the Skyloft Silent Realm, and the entire Skykeep dungeon, which would cut out the final 40 minutes of the current Any% run. And as of right now, that's the single biggest theoretical skip Skyward Sword HD has. But as always, the elusive glitches and possibilities they offer remain unsolved, just out of reach, behind invisible walls. I'm Gymnast86, and thank you for watching.